Shalom AM, money and business. Sam and Zerza, let's get 'em. Oh, it won't be long before that money hits you. You reach a certain point where that money is an issue. Tax cut, inflation, learn about investment. Shoot another perfect show that can help them. Shalom AM, I'll be tuning in live. Sam and Zerza, got the advice for you and I. Kick your feet up, listen to the speaker. Got questions, no sweat, take that number. It's real easy, it's 514-738-4100. Get connected, hit that extension, it's 200. Money and business.
Morris Kuzno from National Bank Financial, back at you here on Money and Business with Sam and Zerza. Sam's special guest today is Charles Nenner. We have Charles Nenner coming into you live and direct from Amsterdam. Mr. Charles Nenner is president and CEO of Cycle Forecaster Incorporated, world-renowned market cycle guru, and you can find him at www.charlesnenner.com. We also have Mr. Eyal Bar in studio with us today. Go ahead, Sam.
Yes, Charles, thank you for being in our show, Charles. You know that?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, Charles, wanted to say thank you for being in our show.
You're welcome.
On Money and Business. And Charles, I wanted to ask you a special favor. Can you give us on Money and Business an exclusive forecast or a new prediction that you haven't given CNBC or Fox, that you haven't told them in Money and Business? Just a new forecast. Could be a stock, could be gold, could be could be anything. Well,
it's a problem because I usually give forecasts months or half a year ahead, so everything has been forecasted. I don't want to give you something that starts only in a year.
Okay, well, just something that will start maybe in September or something. Something that will start, something that will trigger. Could be the S&P 500, the Dow, could be the NASDAQ, Microsoft, Apple, oil, silver, just about anything. I just want to, No?
So let me tell you this: if you see a weakness in Goldman Sachs the next couple of weeks, if you see it, I'm not so sure. I didn't look exactly.
Okay.
Then you want to buy Goldman Sachs because I think it's going to be a market leader again.
Oh, is that right? Goldman Sachs had some problem. Didn't they just pay about $1 billion in fines?
No, $500 million. But that's like taking away from the bonus of every person maybe $100 or so. It's not so much.
It's not so much. Okay, good. By the way, I want your prediction on the U.S. dollar and the Swiss franc.
Oh, the Swiss franc is something I don't watch closely.
Okay.
The U.S. dollar, I tell you that we are long for a while already Australian dollar against the U.S. dollar.
Okay.
And I think not only that, we also bought the Australian bonds because the interest rates are still very high over there. And I think the Australian dollar can appreciate about 25% in the next year against the dollar.
Your favorite currency, is it the Canadian dollar or is it the Australian dollar?
The Australian dollar and the Canadian dollar, yes.
Both of them, right? They're intertwined because we're petrodollars and material dollars. Is that right? Is that because of that?
Well, Australia is very much connected to China for the commodities, and Canada is very connected to the economy of the United States. So they're a bit different. But they both look like they're going to outperform against the U.S. dollar for a long time.
So that means people here in Canada, obviously our listenership here on Money and Business and Radio Shalom and all over the global that are listening, that means we should be really selling the U.S. dollar versus Canadian. Is that it?
Yeah, you should hold Canadian dollars for the next year.
For at least the next year, right?
Yeah.
What about the euro? I had a lot of emails. Please ask Mr. Charles Nenner, the euro, should we sell it? Should we buy it? What should we do? This is some of the emails I've been getting yesterday and today.
Well, the euro has a short-term short-term high, the middle of August, and then it's going to see some weakness. But longer term, the euro should go up again.
Even with all the problems that they're having right now, with all the countries like Spain and Portugal.
Well, the story is always this: you know as much as I know, as much as everybody knows. So we can only deal with what the future brings, and that we don't know. That's why we use the cycles.
Right.
So if you and I don't mean this to be ironic, but if you know something other people don't know, then it's valid. But if you know that something that everybody knows, it doesn't make much sense.
So does your forecast for the euro did it hit a peak of your cycle research this year?
I have a short-term high in the middle of August, then a major low by end of September, and then the euro should take off for another half year again.
Wow. Go ahead, Eyal.
Charles, in one of your interviews that I've watched about a year ago or more, I remember you were talking about how China was piling up commodities, and also, of course, there's a big property bubble in China. So regarding this forecast, your forecast for the Australian dollar, don't you think it's vulnerable to a Chinese collapse since the authorities are tightening the market over there?
Well, again, you're not talking to somebody who's looks at all those fundamentals, because, again, what we ask ourselves, or what we know, everybody knows, I don't know where it's going to come from. There could be some weakness in China, and not there could be. I expect to see some weakness, but that could temporary. And then, if the U.S. becomes very weak again, you see the situation with the currencies. There's no strong currency these days. It's all which one is the less weakest. That's actually the problem.
Is that right? I had another email concerning the pound. The pound. Do you follow the pound also?
Yeah, but I don't really have it in my head, but I remember the cycle is up for a while, and we're going to see a stronger pound again.
Oh, really? Should we be buying the pound? Wow. And the Brazilian currency?
No, I'm not so crazy. I would stick with the first choice, Australian dollar.
Okay.
Then
Canadian,
and then this will surprise you, the yen.
The yen?
The yen, yes.
Wow, start buying the yen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, you like the yen, you're going to probably like the pound. You're not crazy about the U.S. dollars and the euro. You're not really much crazy about. Is that right?
No, not for the moment. For the moment, not so. But in that order, the euro is also going to be on the list in a couple of weeks.
Oh, is that right? Okay, what about the shekel? I got to ask you about the shekel. I've been in Israel a few months ago. I did a show from there. I interviewed the chief economist of Bank Leumi, and he tells me the shekel is going to get stronger and stronger. I mean, it's a booming economy. What do you think about the shekel?
I think the shekel is okay. I think that not that strong, but I think the shekel is pretty strong.
Yeah, is the site...
And it's not a bad currency, but the problem is, if you keep shekels, you don't get any interest in the banks also. These days, that's why the Australian dollar will still give you, I think, about 5% on if you keep cash in the bank. So that's why you want to be. First of all, the currency is clearly going up, and then you get a 5% interest on it. On the shekel, you don't get anything.
Okay, so what is your forecast on the Toronto Stock Exchange? Since we're in Canada here, the Toronto Stock Exchange and also the S&P 500 for the next year.
Well, Toronto, I don't watch that much, but I want to mention that all stocks actually move in tandem. All markets move in tandem. If a market goes down, then in Canada, the paper will say why the Canadian market went down. In Amsterdam, they will write why the Amsterdam market came down. The funny thing is nobody says they all went down and they're all connected. So I think they're very connected to the United States. Like I said, I expect a little more strength into the last week of August, and then you really don't want to be in stocks if you're in stocks already. And that's probably the same situation in Canada.
So you don't want to be in stock in the U.S., you don't want to be in stock in Canada, but what about commodities?
Commodities is also
commodity
difficult.
Stocks.
I think the rally in crude is almost over, so you don't want to be there. If you want to do some long-term investing, you want to be in corn, beans, and soya beans, that is, and wheat. And if you don't want to be in commodities, you look up stocks that are connected to that. Like I said, Monsanto, Mosaic, and potash, and you just stick with it. That's stocks you can stay in for the long run. Okay,
I just want to tell investors out there, if you have an investor advisor, please read your prospectus on investing, because some of the stocks that we talk about here on Money and Business, they could be risky, so please talk to your investment advisor. Charles, most investment firms and brokers are not equipped for another double dip in the market because most retail clients are long equities and mutual funds. You know that. What advice can you tell investors before the market reverses? In about a few minutes we have left.
Well, I'm not so sure that they're so much long in stocks. They have a problem because they're afraid to be in stocks, especially if they're a bit older. and in bonds they don't get any return. What I want to tell them is, listen, I'm Dutch, and Dutch people first say, how do we not lose money? And Americans always say, how do we make money? And this is a time for the Dutch approach, just try not to lose money. There's no way that you can make a lot of money the next couple of years, and try to save whatever you have.
Is that right? Wow. So just, okay, you can buy treasuries, you're buying bonds, okay. No, you said bonds wasn't good enough, right? Okay. So just take cash?
No, at the moment, no, you don't get enough, the yield is nothing, I wouldn't do it. Right. The only thing I advise to buy is stocks that are connected to the grains.
Okay.
And then you're going to be very happy in 1 or 2 years, even in half a year. Just stay long those stocks that I mentioned.
And you'll be very happy.
Because the wheat, soybeans, and corn are just starting the bull market.
Wow. Charles Nenner, thank you very, very much. I know it's about 11 o'clock there in Amsterdam. Thank you very much to be on Money and Business. And
You're
I
welcome.
hope, I know you're supposed to come again in October, right? Hopefully we'll talk, maybe good news, maybe the markets will be up a little bit by then. But thank you very much for being on our show, and I want to thank Morris Cousineau from National Bank Financial.
Well, thanks for having me, Sam. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, and Eyal Bar. And next week we're going to be talking about, we're going to have Mr. Richard Wilson, the hedge fund group. And we're going to be talking about hedge funds, okay? That's I want to know more about that. And I want to thank everybody for listening to our show. My name is Samuel Zerza from Money and Business on CJRS, Radio Shalom, 1650 AM in Montreal. And happy capitalism. Thank you very much.